for today's message. Yeah, Leonard likes to turn me off just in case. Out there blowing my nose or something. Oh my goodness. I've got to say something like, I don't know, it's like completely off script. I didn't plan it or anything like that. But thinking about today's daily word, holding a vision of peace for the entire world. Because we talked a lot about Dr. Martin Luther King last week and his spiritual approach to social change. And our spiritual approach here at Unity is we're all together. Buddhists and Muslims and Christians and Jewish people and people of no background, religious or spiritual at all, want to come and be on a spiritual path, a positive path for spiritual living. And so we're living together and demonstrating how we can be together in a shared experience of being immersed in the flow of divine good. So it's not so much there's a God out there that's going to save me from you, which has been a lot of religious thinking in the past, that we have the fast track to the God out there. And so we are going to be secure as an individual, as a family, as a community, as a nation. We're going to be secure because we have the goods, right? We have the fast track. We have the right God. And it really doesn't make any sense. It might have made a little sense in tribal communities thousands of years ago when you needed to protect yourself physically all the time. But that type of thinking has given way to a new way of thinking. And that new way of thinking includes everyone. That new way of thinking has to include the person right there who I think I'm separate from, who I disagree with. And so there's a divine flow of energy that I can welcome you into that goes beyond our theology, goes beyond our beliefs, goes beyond our experiences of the past, and brings us directly into now. And that's what I want to talk about today, is that spiritual energy, that living water is coming from you. One of the scriptures I love from John is Jesus says, "He that believes on me, as the scripture has said, from within him shall flow rivers of living water." From within you comes the rivers of spiritual energy, of living water. It's a demonstration of a new kind of energy. That energy of pure love. It's in everyone. And it's being demonstrated by you when you believe in the truth and you tune in to that frequency. Because what is God then? I mean, what are we getting together for? What are we celebrating? What are we worshiping? I am celebrating a frequency of energy, of amazing universal energy that includes the whole of the universe. And it exists within you. And that's why we need to tune in. And however we do that, however we tune into that energy, that's the core of your spiritual path. That's the core of your religion. And that's where we meet. And that's where we meet here in Unity, is that fundamental message that there's a God frequency in you. And you can tune into it at any moment. And so let's make it easy for each other to tune into that energy. Let's make it easy. Because greater is He who is in you, she who is in you, than she who is in the world. The one you're representing in the world as a personal being, that's not really you. Now you have to give that personality, whatever that was. I learned that you have to give that to the frequency of God. You have to give it to God to use so that the one who is in you will also be the one who is in the world. Now, of course, we need some help with that. We needed an example. Because everyone is God. But we don't see it unless we see God within ourselves. So, of course, Jesus was one who saw God within himself. Buddha was one who experienced God within himself without using the word God. There's no word God in that whole thing. It's just what is. Isn't that incredible? So it's an amazing thing, because that doesn't allow the mind to formulate God in an image that you can then hold static. You want to be in the flow. You don't want to be static. I read a quote yesterday that said, even if you're on the right path, you're going to get run over if you sit down. So keep moving. Keep it flowing. Keep moving. Don't sit down. Because we live in a universe of limitless ideas, limitless potential, unlimited ideas. And it never stops. And if you stop, you're stopping the flow. The flow's going to just wash right over you. It won't be a blessing. It will be a curse. If the flow is going to knock you over. But if you're in the flow and you're moving with it, something great is always happening for you. And this is the part that we get tripped up on, is we're trying to hold things in material imagery. It's the whole problem of religion, I think, is that we try to understand these incredible truths and experiences from a very limited point of view. And so we're only looking at a little part of it. It's like there's 88 keys in the piano and we're only playing 2 notes. We're not getting very far with that. So concerning matter, Einstein says we've been all wrong. What we've called matter is really? Energy. Yes, energy. It's really energy, but it's just at a slower vibration. And so it's slow so it can be perceived by us. It's lowered, it's a vibration that has been lowered so it can be perceptible to our senses. There's another sense that hopefully we're all developing. That inner sense. Somebody said they took the word innocence and changed it to inner sense. That way you're always open. You're always available. You're always innocent in your view of things. It's an inner sense. It's another sense beyond the 5 senses. And Einstein says there's no matter, there's only light and sound. This matter is temporary. And yet it's always moving. The molecules, the atoms are always moving. They're always in movement. So even what we see as solid matter is still in motion. It's not sitting still. And with that in mind, the love that you search for, you can now know is everywhere present. And it's present within you already. And it may be evoked by anything. A number of people, events. A mountain can evoke this. A sunset can evoke this love. But finally, you must realize that you are this love. That the source of all love is within you. We really can turn our minds around and stop searching out there and know that the source of all love is within us. You know, that's what Jesus, our way shower, came to demonstrate, is that all the love in the universe existed within him, that he could identify himself with God. And we are called to do the same thing, to stop playing small. And that is really how we hold a vision for peace for the entire world. We're demonstrating peace right here, right now, that it's coming from within us. So how do we do it? How do we get there? How do we stay in the flow once we get there? How do we stay immersed in the divine flow? Here's a Unity pen for you. Has our address on it, but we can't read it. How do we stay immersed in the divine flow? I've got a 4-step way to do this. First thing we need to do to stay immersed in the divine flow is to let go. These aren't quotes I found on Facebook. I actually wrote these myself for you guys. I love the internet. Everybody's saying a lot of great stuff. Some aren't saying such great stuff, but they're quoting everybody and misquoting everybody. And finally you find out, well, I could say it in a way that's right for me. And that maybe will speak to folks who are around me, and it has more power. So let's go. We cannot connect to the divine flow of life. We can connect to the divine flow of life. And when we do, we let go of our need to control every detail and situation of our life. Letting go of control is our first step. So letting go is the first step in connecting to the divine flow. The next step is turn it over. It's not enough to let go of control if I haven't turned it over to a higher power. I end up picking it back up again. Many times I said, I let go of this, and then I haven't really meditated and turned it over to a higher power. And guess what? A week later, I'm back at it again. I'm complaining about the same person. I got the same problem. I'm trying to solve the same problem I had last year or the year before. Why? Because I haven't gone and given it away completely. And the next step is really, really important. Once I've turned it over to the higher power, I've got to trust in my higher power. Now comes the time to trust, to really seek ye first the kingdom of heaven in every moment and every day. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven within, and then all these things shall be added unto you. You see, I can't receive it. If I'm holding on to the past, I can't receive anything new. If I've let it go, I can let it in. Yeah. It's time to sing already? I like that. That's a good energy. I'm going to give you a microphone. It's beautiful. What a song. I love it. So we're trusting. We're trusting that everything is in divine order because I've turned it over to my higher power. I have sought first the kingdom of heaven within. And I know when I do that, all these things that I desire, all those things that you desperately need, all those wonderful things that life holds out for us in health and in healing and in abundance and prosperity and living in a loving and caring community, all those things that proceed from heaven, they begin in heaven and they are found in heaven. They're not found down in the conflict here. We have to take the conflict, acknowledge it, and give it to the higher power. We really are in a place now where we need to trust. We need to trust that everything that needs to be manifest is already being manifest in the most perfect way. And the way that I can handle it right now. That's the thing about Spirit, is it always knows every aspect of everything that's going on and everything I need much better than I do from my 5 senses and my intellect that was built on 5 senses. But my inner sense can trust. In my inner sense, I can trust. And then the great thing is that after I am trusting and I'm in the flow, I get to demonstrate. Not like that, Charlie. This is a political demonstration, it looks like. That's pretty funny. We're acting upon our trust. We're putting feet to our faith. I told you it was going to be fun today. And that's a surprise to me. I let it go. Be firm with yourself. Be firm with yourself in these matters, though. However, I think it's really important that you realize that you're the only boss of yourself. You're the only one determining your experience. You know, the Buddha said, what you think, you become. So what have I become? It's just been a result of my thinking. And if it's not to my liking, I'm going to change my thinking. I'm going to do everything possible to take on a new way of thinking, or at least increase all the good ways of thinking that I have benefited from. Being immersed in the Spirit, being immersed in meditation, being immersed in a flow of divine energy in all the spiritual classes that we teach and all the workshops that are offered and all the music that we sing, and to take that home. The demonstration is to take that home and to merely be as God created me in the grocery store, at your job, in the school, on the street, with your family. And when things get conflictual, I've heard this week a wonderful thing. Conflict is creative energy. Something's waiting to be born. And so it's always something that's attempting to get you back in the flow. Because I feel like conflict is just me not turning it over, not trusting, not demonstrating that the peace of God is in me now. And then I'm blocking the flow of my good and the good of all those around me. And that's all it really is a block. It's an amazing thing, but we look a lot at miracles as removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. It's not really anything other than that. Love, peace, joy, all of the abundance of the universe, all of the comfort, all of the excitement, all of the adventure is right here before you. It's all around you. It's an amazing, beautiful universe. And all I'm doing through the miracle is allowing the blocks to the awareness of that to be removed. The blocks to the awareness of love's presence. So I must be firm with myself in letting go of my need to control. And I must turn my will and my life over to the care of my higher power. And then I'm going to trust in the wisdom of Spirit, of that higher power to guide me. Not through my own wisdom, but the wisdom of Spirit. And Spirit will guide us with grace and ease. And finally, be the miracle to all those around you. That's really not as hard as it seems to be, as you make it out to be. You can be the miracle to all those around you. And you know when you're doing it because you feel so good. You feel so good. Isn't that right, Cindy? That's why you get that smile on your face 24 hours a day. Because you just know that you're being a miracle. And you don't know how or why it's happening. You just know that that's natural. It's the natural thing for us to do. So whenever anything comes up, you guys, just remember, you can be the miracle in that situation. If you need to let go of some stuff, let it go. Let it go now. Let it go and give it to your higher power. Trust your higher power. And be the miracle that you're looking for. And when you feel stuck at any time, just dive right in. The water's divine. I love you guys. God bless you. Be a blessing.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass. And visit us online at www.unityoncapecod.org.